top 6 to top 8, so I do think that maybe will tell us something, but that's going to be for later when we get there.
Indeed it is, and I think that is my cue to go. I'm going to love you and leave you, Gaskin and Shurs. Have a great cast.
Thank you very much. The expectation here for Optic Gaming is all roads lead to Championship Sunday. It's shields up, weapons hot. We're going to see exactly what Optic Gaming are made of.
And Optic Gaming need to show that, you know, mentality-wise and form-wise, it is going to be a very hot start here in Atlanta. They can't afford to allow a team like Pure to get ahead and take advantage of maybe some worries, maybe some concerns, maybe always the bridesmaid and never the bride. That can't get into the heads of Optic Gaming.
Lucid scooped up shock rifle. He's over towards double stacks. Lines up LastShot. Misses the headshot, but LastShot will survive down long haul. Druk's going to slide forward, get the kill. He has a little bit of utility to play with as well. 3 go down. Camouflage popped in the chest of Druk. And how good is it to see Druk back on American soil?
Amazing to see Druk back-to-back events and will be a big factor for Pure, that's for sure. Now, Optic Gaming, though, have allowed Pure to get a little bit of time here in this first hill. Druk has somehow survived with the camouflage as well. He was able to sneak away, not only with the camo, shock rifle too.
Still got some time to play with then. Optic continue to score. Deadzone loses his face. That's the cue to go. TriPPPeY on glass. Druk's going to soar towards him, try and line up the face. The swing and a miss this time down. A couple of shots go wayward. Shock rifle now completely out of ammunition. A couple of team nades come his way as well. But this is good from Pure. They have the right side of the map, and Deadzone hits the dead screen.
Druk just grappling here, there, and everywhere, not just to avoid his own grenades, but his teammates as well. Still, though, the same life, still alive. And I think that's what's important here for Pure, is we spoke about the speed of which they play. Sometimes speed of play can result in many a death, and you can then get really tossed and turned by your opposition. But Pure are showing they have great ability to survive here, especially Druk, and they're still scoring close to getting this first hill.
This first hill could do their confidence the world of good. Killing spree for Druk, locked in. Optic Gamer are going to have to shut this man down. About to get his second camouflage in very quick succession. Cuts down yet another member of Optic. 1-0 to Pure.
This is a clinic from Druk. Back-to-back camos, still alive, killing spree, and really manipulating the map in any way he would like. Not over-challenging in fights as well, recognizing how important this camouflage is going to be for potentially breaking any sort of setup as well. And now for Optic Gaming, it's about trying to wrestle control back of this map. How many times have we seen another member of Optic taking a 1v1, going down, not having a second player to support? They look all over the place right now.
Druk's camouflage does dissipate. He's inside the hill. TriPPPeY's going to get some damage done. Double kill for Druk once more. Currently sitting at 9, 4, and 1. Like you say, we were speaking about firing on all cylinders, and it looks as though Pure are the ones to do it.
Cherished with a big kill over Formal as well. Again, 1v1s you don't often see lost on the side of Formal. And Optic Gaming just haven't really been able to get going thus far. Pure holding on to these hills, making it difficult. Optic, again, one player pushing down long haul, getting sniffed out, getting taken down. And it's another kill going in favor of Pure. And this could be another hill going in favor of them, and it could be a 2-0 lead unless we see a big break here from Optic.
Our Optic just asleep at the wheel right now. Taulek asking all sorts of questions, as is Druk. Across the board, every single player in the team have damage, have kills, and have assists, playing together, playing in tandem. So now move over towards tower.
Remember what we heard Tony say on the desk as well. This desk, I'm still here. It was a scrim recently where Pure were able to just edge out a victory on this map and mode against Optic Gaming. Even though it is one of Optic Gaming's best, they're 4-1 so far this season. Pure showed that they can crack them, they can break through that armor, and Optic Gaming will know full well that Pure are here, they're ready to play, and they need to answer back soon.
It was 4 dead for a moment for Pure. Optic Gaming have an opportunity, a chance perhaps, to take control of this game. It is well and truly been beyond them so far. Formal sitting up towards top elevator, then firing shots out from the catwalk. Taulek's going to back him down, and he's down to just a single shot. Will take him out, and Taulek has camouflage again. Pure are on top of those power-ups.
Statistics-wise, it's Formal, it's Druk, the two players standing out at the moment with the amount of kills they've been able to get, but the camouflage control has been everything for Pure. As you mentioned, is Lucid the next to fall, and that should allow a push for Pure now to break this setup. Optic Gaming looking like they're close to getting their first point on the board, but it is not quite there. They can't fully commit to this one. They almost have to give up a little bit of space, allow Pure to push, and try and catch a couple of players off guard, which they do.
We were speaking to Snipe Down before, or Snipe Drone, excuse me, before the tournament started, and he said when you're playing against these big teams, they are not beaten until they are in the ground. And Optic Gaming are another one of those teams. Pure have got to make sure they can keep matching this pace. Don't allow Optic to even get a toe back into this game, because otherwise they will be able to rip that game right from beneath your feet. But Pure, they didn't really allow Optic an easy hill. They probably could have decided to set up for next if they really wanted to, but they said, no, look, we can take it. There's still enough time here in this one, but now 3 are dead, and now Optic Gaming looking more likely to put their first on the board. Deadzone, not comfortable in the hill, just trying to block some spawns, perhaps looking for some enemies. He's done so successfully, cleared them out. And Optic Gaming should and will get this hill. Pure are giving it up, and they're starting to rotate and playing blue instead. Perhaps that is what they needed to do. It's what I was mentioning before, but I think just because of the amount of time Optic had left, it just was a small opening for Pure to potentially have a chance to get one back in their favor. But now that movement and their setup for the next hill hasn't really benefited Pure just yet. If they can get an early pick here, then maybe, but it's a good push from Optic Gaming. They are starting to link up a lot better now. It's less individual pushes. Maybe they thought that they could kind of match Pure in a way where there's a lot of individual fights happening, and they say, look, we need to lock it down. We need to be playing more like Optic Gaming and less like individuals. Maybe that's all Optic Gaming needed to do. Try and suss them out, figure out what Pure were going to do. And maybe perhaps, like a learning robot, starting to sense some patterns. It's one thing that all the top teams do very well, is adjusting on the fly to the playstyles that they are going up against. It might be a difficult early start. You might lose a couple of hills, but all it takes is one call from one of these teams to say, well, this is how they're beating us. This is what we need to do to change. And that's one thing that some of the teams around the top 8, the top 12 really struggle to do. They don't have that plan B to fall back on. And speaking of struggling for the moment, Lucid currently sitting at 7, 5, and 12. He has the assist. He's been involved in 12 gunfights, but the issue you have is when you're wanting to win a game in a series like this, you need Lucid to be performing just a little bit better. Well, usually Lucid is that guy who individually can match anyone and will step up to the plate and will take every single fight. But when those fights aren't going his way, you can get in a bit of a rut. You can maybe get overconfident, but maybe some of that confidence starts to come back here for Lucid. That's a big kill that he definitely would have needed as Optic look to try and get back into this game. Confident Lucid is a dangerous one. As he puts it into reverse, back towards blue pipes. And Optic continue to score. In and out of the hill they go, but now all of a sudden the game clock starts to be a problem as we are down to within a minute. And of course, remember, every time a player steps inside that hill, the clock will stop. That fifth hill was going to be a tricky one as well. And I wonder whether Pure even believe they could try and play time here on this fourth hill. It's not an easy one to do. 45 seconds to try and hold them out. I don't think it's going to even be an opportunity. Optic aren't even going to play that game. They're not going to entertain it whatsoever. Instead, it looks like we're going to be tied up. It's going to be 2-2 then, with 45 seconds left, and we're going bottom mid. We're going to have a scrap here in map 1. Interesting as well, when Pure were in the ascendancy, they were outslaying Optic Gaming by 8 kills. That has now been cut away. Pure only outslaying by 3, so it's been cut down by 5. The camouflages have played a part. Lucid looks to have a bigger influence on the game right here, right now. Yeah, a lot has changed since camouflages have gone in favor of Optic Gaming. Now, because overtime can go into effect, probably will go into effect, you don't need to desperate this hill at this point. But Lucid saying, well, it's free time, and it's 3 dead for Pure, and Optic have come right back into the game just when they needed to. It was a slow start. It was maybe an early morning for them that they didn't really want to have to do. But now it seems like everything is working out how we would expect, right? They've woken up fine. Back to your regular scheduled programming for Optic Gaming, it would seem. The coffee just taking a little bit too long to kick in as far as they're concerned, but they are now in the ascendancy, they are now in control. We're all tied up for the moment, but Optic look the more likely to score. Yeah, 3 dead again for Pure and Optic now. It's just one last set of slays, and game 1 will be going in their favor, so one last push here for Pure. What have they got? They have to get the opening pick. It's coming away from Taulek. Got a player inside. Cherished going to drop in, but he's making a meal of that kill. TriPPPeY gets a double. Big game. TriPPPeY scores the hill. 3-2 to the green wall. 23 seconds then for Pure to try and do something. There's only one real chance here to try and hold it. If Optic can hold them back and get all 4 dead, then who knows what could happen. Time running down then. TriPPPeY's going to step towards the hill. Hoping, like you say, just to play time. LastShot's desperately trying to fire. Peek and shoot, peek and shoot. while trying to take as little damage as possible. He's done so successfully. He's kept himself alive and is still alive until this moment. Lucid shuts him down.
20 seconds left in the game. Optic Gaming trying to take this victory away. Let's jump into a quick listen in at the end of this game and see how they are coming.
Literally a bullet. One shot.
They're
gonna spawn long all here. There's two guys long.
One shot long haul, one shot long haul.
5 seconds, guys. 5 seconds.
Do that.
Let's go hell, maybe.
Bottom tower. I'm watching it hell.
Nice shot.
Nice.
Yo, good shit, guys. Good ice, guys. Tommy, let's go. Good game.
Nice.
I suppose bottom mid Joey at the end.
Thank you.
Only thing I needed to hear there was good ice. And that's exactly what Optic Gaming have been missing in the grand finals. But in game 1, in that series, they're looking good. They bounce back.
I just thought it was in Deadzone strength. I think good ice. Great ice here in the arena here in Atlanta.
It is warm.
Exactly what I needed to cool me down. But wow, what a response that is from Optic, because at the start of the game, it didn't look like they had woken up. They were really struggling, very much running as individuals, losing those fights, losing those 1v1s, and Pure were kind of lapping it up. They were more than happy. They were saying, oh, we are breezing through this one. But as we mentioned, Optic very good at adjusting on the fly, recognizing what was going wrong, started to play together a little bit more, and it was a comfortable comeback in the end.
We speak about confidence for these teams, and for Pure, it was going so well in those opening 2 hills. You spoke about how important the Slayer is going to be. Do you think that they look back at this game as one that got away, or perhaps maybe they just ran out of steam?
I think it's always going to be one that got away, right? When it's essentially a reverse sweep in that particular map and mode. But at the same time, they're going up against Optic Gaming, so that's almost to be expected. I think that a team like Pure will be happy that it was as close as it was, but later when they start to digest everything and they start to look back, they'll say, okay, maybe we gave that one up. Because in the moment, you just kind of play it at face value, you play what's in front of you. You're probably not thinking we just got reverse swept. They're just thinking, oh, well, it was 3-2. It's pretty close against Optic. Let's focus on the positives right now. But as I said, later on when they start to check those VODs, maybe they will think that this was a throwaway.
And something that many teams will probably do when they play against the big 3, when they play against Optic Gaming, when you go that close in game 1, you perhaps say to yourselves, listen, we went really close. And unfortunately, I just don't think Pure are the kind of team that care if they went close. The result is all that matters to them.
You still see positive vibes on the side of Pure, still fist bumps, as they know they did come close, but close is not enough against Optic Gaming. As up next, we've got Slayer Solitude. We mentioned it briefly. I said that I think this is really going to be the map for Pure. If they are going to win this series, they have to win this Slayer. If they do not win this, I think we might be looking at a 3-0.
We mentioned Lucid and how perhaps at the start of that game he wasn't performing very well. We talked about Cherished being the latest addition to this team. Having a look at their stats stand on Slayer matchups from HCS London, the trending you're seeing jump off the page.
I think that the introduction of Cherished, I mean, we spoke about what is he going to bring to this roster is, I said good vibes, but it seems like he also brings a pretty successful KD as well.
I will say kills do generally bring vibes as well, wouldn't you?
I think that for the most part, yes. Unless you're the only person getting kills and everyone else is struggling a little bit, then I'm asking, how are you getting that many kills?
Or you being the one getting killed?
Are you baiting everyone else? That sometimes becomes the question. Certainly in matchmaking, doesn't happen very often in the HCS.
Well, let's have to see if Cherished and indeed Pure can bounce back in this game number 2. And you spoke about how it was going to be a swing game, Dan, and how if they were going to push this series a distance, this one was going to be important.
This is going to be a big one for Pure. If they are going to win this series, has to be here for me. Optic have lost a couple of games so far this season on Slayer Solitude. Pure did actually win one in London as well. So it is one of their better maps and modes that they have in this series layout, if not their best in the series layout. Has to happen here, has to happen now. Otherwise, you go into Stronghold's live fire, throwing away a King of the Hill recharge, arguably, and then losing one of your better game types. Suddenly your momentum, your belief, it's all going to start to disappear a little bit.
This one's important, particularly for Pure's hopes and dreams, of course. These two teams currently share a pool with ITB. We know what ITB like to do. They like to go 3-way ties. So maps can be important. Map wins can be so as well. So Pure will hope they can get this Slayer.
I'm not sure ITB like the 3-way ties, but they certainly do seem to happen very often. And they don't usually come out on top in those 3-way ties as well. It is very disappointing for them every single time. But Optic won't want to be involved in a 3-way tie. They'll want to make sure they are able to 3-0 Pure, get the job done, and then go in and try and take out ITB in the same map.
There's ITB tweeting out this story this weekend is a redemption. Pure looking for redemption in map number 2 of this series. Unfortunately for them, I'm hearing shock rifle shots pop off, and it's not in the hands of a Pure member, it's in that man Formal's hands.
7-1 already, and if you're on the Pure team here, you're kind of looking around asking, well, who's going to make the difference? Who's going to step up, make a play here to try and get us out of this rut, out of this spawn trap? Well, it's not going to be Taulek, because Formal rips his head off, and now suddenly it's 10-2.
Fight on driveway, Druk's going to continue to jiggle peek, bounce up and down, trying to maneuver his hitbox just a touch. Formal does not give a damn and puts him in the ground.
Quite far into the ground as well. I think that's the worry here for Pure, is they are being pummeled. 12-3 already. And Solitude can be like that sometimes. If you get caught on the spawn, if you have staggered spawns in particular, then the other team can really start to pinch you, prod you, punch you. And sadly for Cherished, he had an opportunity there to take down Formal, but not able to hit those final shots. This is, I'm going to be honest with you, Shurs, this is looking like it could be more than a steak dinner. At this point, they're going to be whining and dining, and this is the full menu.
My concern is the image that's popping to head is Hulk fighting Loki. That's what's looking like here, because they're getting smashed into the ground, and they've got to try and stop this pressure, but Formal is in no mood to slow down.
When I said Pure needed to win this game, right, and it was going to be the most important game in the series, to then come into it and to see a 15-kill lead already, that's when you start to think, okay, Optic Gaming are clearly, there's a class difference here between these two rosters that maybe wasn't on show in game 1 in the early stages, but once Optic get going, it's a killing frenzy for Formal. Add another one with a triple. And Formal, any questions, any doubts you might have had about this man coming into this tournament, I think he's already answering them.
Formal just walking around the map saying, exterminate, exterminate, murdering everything on his screen. Another kill for Lucid. That one stuck to him as well. When things are going your way, those sorts of things happen.
I'd like to see a Formal cosplay as a Dalek now. You've got that in my head, and I think that we definitely have to organize it. Maybe that's some content, but 23-10, it's a 13, make it 14-kill lead. Pure just can't get out of this trap. Every single time they push around a corner, there is another member of Optic Gaming there waiting, licking their lips, waiting for another kill.
Licking their lips, maybe perhaps thinking of that steak dinner, medium rare, or any which way you like it cooked. Formal will fall, 4 dead, perhaps an opportunity then for Pure to retake some control.
Yeah, they now need to do exactly what Optic have just done to them. Find out, call out those spawners, and make sure they delete them as quick as possible to put them on a stagger and start to push your advantage. They've just got the first kill, they know they're at blue, push them.
4 kills without reply for Pure, and that's exactly what they need, and more of it, please. All 4 members of Optic Gaming stuck inside blue. This has got to be surgical, it's got to be incisive and decisive to Pure.
They weren't quite in a position there to actually get any sort of pinch. I think they were a little bit too vulnerable for maybe one of those traps we'll talk about, but suddenly, Taulek with a shock rifle, things are looking a little bit better for Pure now. Double kill, and could be more.
Taulek just didn't clear his angle close left. Formal gets another kill. And still a 10-kill, make it 9-kill lead as a couple more members of Pure do fall down. Deadzone gets caught down to no shields now, it appears. He drops down towards U-turn, and Druk will apply the finishing touches to get that kill. This one's not over yet, 8 kills difference, and this map is one where it can quickly turn.
It can snowball, and we have to give credit to Pure because it looked like it was going to snowball out of control where there was no real comeback possibility, but suddenly that comeback is very much on the horizon now. It's still quite a big gap. It's still 7 kills, but at one point, remember, it was a 15-kill game, and Pure have chopped that in half. They are right back into this one. They've got camouflage, and Optic Gaming, they now need to demonstrate what they can do when they're on the back foot, when they are stuck in any sort of trap pin.
Pure do not want to give up their lunch money. They're starting to fight back against the Optic Gaming bullies then. Taulek still has a little bit more camouflage to play with. TriPPPeY over towards the flower door, and he is no more. Taulek gets the kill. 5 then, the point of difference. And Pure now will be growing in confidence. 2 members over towards posters. It's going to be Deadzone and Formal together. Lucid gets a pick, and I wonder if that will mean that Pure have to change things and play a little bit slower.
Suddenly we have a game on our hand, and I'm pretty happy about that because I was worried it was going to be like one of the biggest losses we've ever seen on our screens with how that opening. But we really have to kind of talk about how Pure got back into it. It was one break, it was one all for dead, and then suddenly they wrestled back control of this map. And then the camouflage control since has allowed them to get back into this one, make a game of it, and now Optic Gaming very much on the back foot and struggling a little bit to find any sort of control. And I guess that's where Optic usually we give them credit for, is when they are controlling the game, they are so good at hammering their opponents into the ground. But against some of the bigger teams, they do struggle to get out of some of these scenarios.
What a difference a break can make. Keeping them on staggered spawns, like you spoke about, isolating these players. Every time an Optic Gaming member spawns up, he crouches and he hopes that he can stay alive and long enough for his teammates to get close to him. Unfortunately, Pure are playing far too quickly. It's now a 2-kill game.
How on earth have Pure been allowed to get back into it like this? You've got to ask. But Optic Gaming do still have the lead, that's what's important. And if Optic do get that break, which they have now, they've got a little bit more map control, they've forced now Pure back to spawns. Optic now need to just make it count once more like they had before, and this camouflage could be big for Deadzone, but he gets spotted out, and that is a huge stick for Druk.
Sticks go left, sticks go right. Formal gets one right back, but the camouflage player, that one could be pivotal. We could be looking back at the end of this game, talking about that was the moment where it all changed. Formal inside blue and Optic trying to play close. They've got shock rifle, and that's an opportunity to influence the game.
17 kills for Formal at the moment. Only the 3 for Lucid, but does have 7 assists and now has the shock rifle. It's hard to get kills when Formal's playing like that, by the way, so it's no discredit to Lucid. Doesn't quite connect with the first, but Pure very much just staying back here, not overstepping any sort of boundary. They are almost trying to encourage Optic to go for some sort of pinch here. But Optic know they have the lead, plenty of time left, they don't need to rush this one.
Lucid tiptoes in, tries to line up Cherished. It's going to be a bait and switch. Formal is there to help though. TriPPPeY gets a kill elsewhere, that's going to be the opener. What a beautiful timing on the crouch there, just to avoid the headshot. Lucid probably a little bit frustrated that one didn't find a home. Another one swings and misses. LastShot will get his shields down to nothing. Formal tries to follow up with the damage, but pays the price with his life. Optic still 4 kills to the good.
It was a very well-timed push from Optic Gaming. You can also see how difficult it is to try and clean up some of those kills, even despite the damage. And off the back of it now, Pure are wrestling back kills. They are getting back into this game. Make it 40-38. At one point, a 15-kill lead for Optic Gaming. And we talk about throwing away game 1 for Pure, being the fact that they were 2-0 up. Imagine if Optic were not to win this game 2 Slayer with the advantage they had right at the start.
LastShot playing well within his years. Experience showed there. Doing damage, backing away when he needed to. 3 dead for Optic now, and Pure have taken the lead.
Somehow, some way, Pure have the lead. Pure have this game, and they have a chance to try and cause what would be a massive moral boost, not for themselves, but it would be just trying to turn around Optic Gaming's heads and say, look, it is not going to be easy for you. It's 45-42, 5 kills away now at Pure, and Optic, they're in a rut. They are stuck in some difficult positions, and Pure taking full advantage of it. Another camouflage for them.
You speak about turn around, and every now and again, Optic Gaming are falling apart here. Deadzone on driveway will take some damage as well. Another camouflage for Druk. We've seen it, how he was able to put that to work on the recharge game. Can he do so here? They only need 3 more.
3 more, and there are 2 players pushing the camouflage. He's not able to get the kills yet, but someone else does. 48-44 now. Camo still in the hands of Druk. 1 more kill now required for Pure, and they get it! And for good reason. They stand up, they let them know, because how have you just turned around a 15-kill deficit against Optic Gaming? We have a series in our hands.
They stand up and they stand strong, and they let them know, and for good reason. You spoke about a 15-kill deficit they were down by. You speak about showing ice and resilience. Any other team, most other teams would have been down and out, not this Pure team.
I thought it was going to be kind of stop, they're already dead. It's going to be one of those games, like a 50-24 with the way it was going, but that's solitude. That's how difficult it can be sometimes when you are on the back foot. But if you can flip that script, if you can take control of the map and you have the right weapons, you have the right kind of mentality of how you're going to play, and you have that structure, you can do exactly the same to the other teams. You are never out of it until you have lost that game. And that has been very much proven here by Pure, who tie up the series. Then Loi asked us, right, Optic Gaming, what happens when things start to go wrong? Are they going to get down on themselves? If any game is going to show us how Optic react to something like that, this is going to be the biggest one, because that lead was an incredible one, and Pure have somehow, some way been able to turn it on its head.
We got a little camera shot onto Lucid there, and he looked like he was pondering and deep in thought as perhaps how they let that one go. And something I want to talk about, Dan, is this change that was made recently for coaches. We're going back to the old ways. We're going back to stopwatches and pen and paper. Do you think that coaches now can play an even bigger role than previously thought?
I mean, there's still quite literally a timer on your screen, so players, I still don't think sometimes...
Humor me, Dan.
But yes, I do think that coaches will always play a massive part, not just to call out timers as well, but just a constant reminder to make sure, hey look, let's prioritize this camouflage. I know you can see it on your screen, I know you know it's coming up in 15 seconds, but where are you to try and get that camo in 15 seconds? Are you actually thinking about it and where you're positioning yourself?
Now, you spoke about how for Pure, they really wanted to be able to push this series to a Game 4. We are getting bare minimum just that. CTF Aquarius will now come into play, but up next, Strongholds on Livefire.
Another thing that Tony brought up just earlier, during scrims, Pure were able to just about edge out Strongholds Livefire against Optic Gaming. They know they can do it here, even though Optic's still going in as favorites on any sort of Strongholds, because statistically, a very strong team indeed. You can see 4-1 at the moment from HCS London in Strongholds in general. Pure, we don't have as much stats. They didn't play Strongholds as much as well because of the early exit in comparison to Optic Gaming, but you still can see the chance now for Pure in this series, right? I know it's a Slayer, and sometimes we do see the smaller team wins a Slayer and then loses all the objectives, right?
But there's a way to win and lose a Slayer, right? And that's the difference. This isn't a typical we won 50-49. This is we came back from a 15-kill deficit. That's a little bit different, if not a big bit.
Yeah, and I think that now they're going to be saying, like, if we can do that in the Slayer, what can't we do at this point? You talk about momentum, you talk about belief in yourself as a squad and answering any questions about team changes. You know, how's Cherished going to do on this roster? I think that some of the individual fights we just saw by every single member on the Pure team, they're going to be feeling it now. I think actually a break is probably the worst thing that could have happened for them. Maybe a tactical one on the side of Optic, have a little bathroom break, just make sure that they can reset things a little bit here.
I'm always mentioning the dark arts and how players like to play this. They go to the bathroom when they really don't need it, and you're always like, no, they just need to use the toilet. So now you're starting to think that maybe teams are employing those dark arts.
Sometimes you just need to go to the toilet, though. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt in most of the cases, right? But I've seen these guys play matchmaking on stream, and they don't leave that screen
9 hours sometimes straight.
9 hours, they keep going. I don't know where they're going to the bathroom, but maybe that's for up to them. Anyway, I do think this Game 3 still favors Optic Gaming, despite all that nonsense we just saw on our screens here. But I think that the fact now Pure can at least take this to Game 4, as you said, is big for them, because the Optic Gaming roster, not as good at maps 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think something we have to talk about, of course, the confidence that's going to be gained for Pure after winning that Slayer. But perhaps on the other side of things, we've seen a little shot of Lucid looking down and a little bit bothered by the result, and we know why. Is that going to be playing on their minds now with this little break? Perhaps they have more time to lull over it.
Yes, but I'd like to think that Optic have the experience now where they can go, all right, you know, we screwed it up. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, forget about it. Not like, why did we do this? How did we throw that one away? If there is too much talk about the previous game, that always worries me. Sometimes I want to go to listen-ins between games. I think that's when we would learn even more about teams, what's being said. Are you talking about the previous game and what went wrong? Or do you save that for later when you start to do the deep dive on what things went wrong? Instead, you need to be now talking about Strongholds Livefire. How do we make sure that that doesn't happen again? What are Pure good at when it comes to Strongholds Livefire? We already spoke about it on the desk. Speed is everything for Pure. They like to be moving around that map very quickly. On the flip side, Optic Gaming look to have a little bit more structure, which can be achieved in Stronghold Livefire as well. So I think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup between these two squads who are going to have very different playstyles and different approaches. Yeah, let's get into the intricacies of maybe the Strongholds Livefire and how the meta has developed and shifted over time, or perhaps Quadrant were actually the ones who led the line on that. It's with this Strongholds game type, they've always been good at it, but of course, it tends to benefit the team that likes to play fast, stay on the move, and keep going, and that's exactly what Pure are. Yeah, if you can stay ahead of the opposition team, you keep moving. You're like, okay, well, they're going to be capturing C. Let's make sure we're grabbing A, make sure we're grabbing B. Okay, they're moving around to A, we move round to C, and it becomes a little bit of a merry-go-round. And you
the cat and mouse.
It is, and all it takes is one player to say, actually, I don't want them to try and beat us here. That one player challenges two people, then suddenly you have the map advantage. You say, okay, now this is our opportunity to really wrestle and take control of the entire map, because they've given us the chance, because they've been the first ones to cave and say, I want to take the fight, rather than playing the race game around the map. 4 players on the side of Pure, back in chairs, getting ready to lock back in after that game number 2, when you know they're riding high off that. They're probably discussed it afterwards. We were down and out in that game. We're back in this thing. Yeah, you saw the reaction from Druk, certainly in the PIF as well, standing up, a little yell, because those are the games that you dream of, really. The games where you are down, you're out, everyone thinks the game is going to be done and dusted, and then you get back into it. 50-49s are the only thing that really are going to be better than that 49-49, and then you get that final kill, and that's when the dopamine truly hits. But I think that this is going to be a situation for Optic Gaming where they know they could be 2 up in this series. And let's say Stronghold's live fire doesn't go their way here. They'll be saying, well, now we're 2-1 down in the series when this could have been pretty much absolutely chalked. We probably would have been able to take that momentum from game 2. And it was something that Lottie was asking us about, like Optic Gaming, what happens if it goes wrong here in pool play? Is it going to be that detrimental? Now, let's say they do lose this entire series, there is going to be seeding implications that can happen because of that. Suddenly you're going to have a more difficult run in that winner's bracket as well. So all these things have to be considered in the back of your head. But first and foremost, you need to be thinking about game number 3.
Camera just on the Pure boys there, and you can see Taulek looking towards his teammates, and he looked as though he was barking instructions, maybe trying to give them a little bit of motivation. It is important for them just to stay calm here, because if they lose an early lead here in this game, that could be even more detrimental to the cause.
Yeah, there's 2 ways it can go, because you want to stay calm, but also if I'm the leader here, if I'm a coach here, I kind of want to keep the excitement from my team. I want them to be playing fast. I want them to be kind of yelling at each other with callouts here and have that momentum on your side, because I think as soon as you start slowing down and matching the pace of Optic Gaming, that's when Optic will take advantage and they will start beating you, because Optic are better at playing that way. We know that. Optic have come second to every tournament so far for a reason.
I think it's a point of interest that we can talk about. Game 1 was exactly that. Pure had that hot start. They were playing at that pace, and all of a sudden they slowed down and matched Optic, and Optics flipped the script and changed the destination of that result. Now as we load into Stronghold's live fire, what is it you're looking at from Optic, from Pure? Is it simply controlling those power-ups, but Pure have been doing a very good job of?
I think Optic need to not be embarrassed after that game 2. I don't want to see them come out and try and do what they did in game 1, where they're taking stupid individual fights, saying, I'm the better player, I know I can beat this 1v1. Keep playing as a team, put it behind you. But if you're Pure, I think it's the other way around. You challenge. You do stupid stuff here. You take risks and you try and take Optic out of their comfort zone.
You speak about taking risks and making maybe some dumb plays. Druk comes out off spawn, throws a grenade off the wall beside him, and perhaps didn't do the damage that he would have liked with it. And perhaps that's something Optic Gaming weren't expecting.
Out of nowhere, blindsided by the grenade, they hit him in the face, and now they're scratching their heads. But Optic are not able to get B. They finally do get B. Okay, I was a little bit worried for them that if they play for B, don't secure B, then suddenly things aren't going to look good for you. Instead, though, now they get B, they get time on the board, and they get the camouflage to work with. So a great opener from Optic Gaming, something that, you know, we've spoke about many a time. Live fire has always been home for Optic, and their starting strategies are always solid.
Camo sniper rifle can really be a deadly combo. That's exactly what Deadzone has here. LastShot inside B, and they've got B and C now in control. LastShot looks as though he's not going to be long for this world, trying desperately to delay his death. He has done, and long enough for Taulek to pick up a double kill, and Deadzone's in big trouble and not able to have the influence he would have liked with the camouflage and indeed that sniper rifle.
So Pure taking the lead and going for total control here, but TriPPPeY and the rest of the squad now spawning over towards C. So it's not going to be an easy trip cap for Pure, and just being able to catch that first player opens things up for Optic.
Oh, hold on.
The push, but Cherished, we've seen that a few times already today, has been able to win a big 1v1, but thankfully other members of Optic there to clean it up.
Formal there just to spare the blushes of TriPPPeY. We're hoping that's not an indication of things to come. Deadzone will die over towards Sandbags. Druk over towards green, helping his teammate LastShot, just trying to keep it in their control. But here comes the Optic Gaming push. TriPPPeY steps inside, starts to convert it. He's got members positioned over towards tower, and they will take control of B and C and back to scoring points.
Points on the board, but Pure with the lead. And I think the momentum definitely has carried through into this game with the confidence of the way they've been playing, but they just need to make sure they don't get overconfident with their pushes. Some odd positioning that has caught out a couple of Optic Gaming members here and allowed for Pure to push through, but it looks like they're not going to be able to achieve getting B. And this is good from Optic, playing and outplaying Pure at their own game, saying, look, if you are going to be rotating over towards that area, you've left us an opening to grab A ourselves, and they do just that.
Optic Gaming capitalizing then. Triple cap has meant they now take the lead. C is just being converted now by Pure, looking for an unorthodox setup in A and C, leaving B open for Optic Gaming to spawn over towards green. Lucid's gone bottom middle, Formal instead decided to go towards C and tower. That can be an important place to control, but unfortunately for him, runs to the two members of Pure and gets cut down.
Optic still have A and B though, so it's not too much of a concern. Lucid just trying to play a thorn in their side for Pure, and very much a bigger thorn actually. He's a stick in their side right now. Not able to pull him out just yet.
Looks over towards B then. Cherished will win that gunfight with the help of LastShot. Formal's got sniper rifle then. B has not been converted yet. It's good news for Optic Gaming. You can see TriPPPeY trying to get over there and make the reset. LastShot's going to challenge B, will now be converted. This game is back and forth.
Oh, I love that from Druk though. They knew that attention was going to be over towards B, so it's his opportunity to flank over top middle and try and get eyes on anyone who might have been watching it. And he's been rewarded with a sniper rifle, but not for much longer, as Optic Gaming ensure that he does not get away comfortably with it.
Cherished wins another 1v1, this time against Deadzone. You spoke about how important it is and how he continues to do that, and that's exactly what Pure need, because Optic Gaming still have B and C in their control. It's going to be a 1v1 now, and using that dummy to try and stay alive is Cherished, but TriPPPeY comes out on top.
Big chance to get a couple of kills that really could have swung the game there for Optic Gaming, but just with the surviving here from Deadzone could have changed everything, but A was being taken control of. B currently in the hands of Optic Gaming. Well, that's one way to get back on the map.
You won't be able to use that one again, though. I hope he realizes that. Unfortunately, he doesn't need to. Avoids himself a little splish splash in the drink. TriPPPeY on sandbags, putting down some damage over towards green. LastShot desperately trying to stay alive, jumping to try and avoid the splash damage of the grenades. Unfortunately, unable to do so. Cherished now over towards tower. Down bottom middle he goes, looking and hunting for a player, but finding nothing but air.
Camouflage is going to be up in 20 or so.
Don't you wish you had a pen and piece of paper to track that camouflage?
I really did. They banned the phones from me as well. Like, it's just across the board. None in the building. No donuts either. 105 to 74. And Optic Gaming have a small margin to work with here, where they can just maybe a couple of kills don't go their way and allow Pure to get aggressive. But sometimes you want to invite that pressure. You actually want Pure to try and make a play, because then as soon as you get one of those kills that you're waiting for, you can then regain map control and sometimes even get trip cap on the back.
It's almost like a matador luring in the bull, right? You want them to bite a little bit of bait that you're giving them. And for them, it's 110-275. Optic Gaming still in the ascendancy here. Now have turned A in their favor, so they will start scoring again. And for Pure, it's about trying to break this setup. As Formal starts to rotate once again towards tower side. Sitting on Nest, gets a kill. Him and Lucid combined to put down Cherished. But Deadzone and TriPPPeY are in the respawn screen, watching their teammates try and defend C, and they've done so successfully.
Yeah, we spoke about out-rotating a team when it comes to Stronghold's live fire, but it's hard to out-rotate a team like Optic when they kind of stay static at times, and they will just hold down, lock down two of these Strongholds and say, look, how are you going to rotate? Out-rotate us if we're not moving. An important kill for LastShot, but again, good cleanup from Optic Gaming. Communication is definitely on point right now. No one is really able to get away from Pure. Sometimes that's how games can get away from you. If you allow those one-shots to suddenly survive, get bottom middle, and then challenge you elsewhere, but maybe your player's not really expecting that to happen, the game gets turned on its head. As I say that, Pure are getting back into this one. Suddenly, they're only 10 points behind.
You say that, but it did go 3 down for a moment, and Druk making himself a very difficult kill with that quantum translocator. He is eventually taken care of. TriPPPeY's got the snipe rifle. There's a reason why he's looking over towards tower, because that's exactly where the push is coming from. Lands a body onto one, that will slow the push down for Pure, but they have got control of tower side.
Bodies are all you need. Obviously, you would rather have a headshot, you'd rather get that kill, and probably you're going to get more points because of it, but if you can delay that push with a body shot, you can get a lot of communication to the team and say, look, they are weak, we can push if we want, or we can just take this time, take this advantage whilst they are unable to push from the damage we've done. Meanwhile, TriPPPeY's the only one alive. So even though he got those body shots and he forced Pure back, Pure actually used that advantage to say, look, we know the sniper's on one side of the map, so let's make sure we all push the other way here.
I have to say, I'm more of a gentleman with the sniper rifle. I like to shoot shots to just scare people. I don't like to land bodies or headshots, just like letting people know I'm there. That's all I'm doing.
Sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's enough to change the direction of your push. But look at this, it's 3 all in control for Pure. And all the points are starting to rack up as they get right back into it once more. It's a big kill for Cherished just to shut down the Optic push. And they're on the hunt, you can see. Cherished listening to callouts, looking for those one-shots, does get a big perfect as well.
Deadzone pushing forward, claiming space for his team, gets a kill as well to work with. Taulek goes down. And now Deadzone has the opportunity to convert B. TriPPPeY's won a fight over towards C. How big could that be? Lucid's got the camouflage. And all of a sudden, pieces starting to fall in the green wall's favor.
A very small victory it was for Pure and Scrims on this map and mode, and I think Optic will have memories of that. And with it being this close, I think think it might come down to the wire here because it's been very back and forth. Camouflage, though, is always going to make a big difference. And Lucid has a chance to make it count here. Sadly, does not make it count as Cherished just catches him from behind.
What have Pure now got in the playbook? What page are they turning to flip this result in their favor then? Because right now, Optic Gaming are heading towards that 250-point threshold. Already at 185 and climbing then. Lucid wins another fight. C is now being converted by Pure, but B is also going to flip. Lucid's got some trouble, he's got some riffraff to clear out, and he does so successfully.
And that one kill from Lucid, that was the difference maker, and that's what Optic have been able to put on the board several times already this game. It's just one player left alive, and getting that one kill can just keep you scoring. It can keep your team on top, and it's done just that. B's still in control, Pure unable to get any sort of control from the push that they had, and now on the back foot, Deadzone gets aggressive. It's going to be C in their favor. It's going to be an A score now, and a chance to get a trip cap, and a chance to get big points here for Optic Gaming.
LastShot performing heroics over towards B. Will it be enough? Lucid comes over the top middle, putting damage down on the Druk, wins that fight as well. A sniper rifle to work with as well over towards back green. Taulek gets a kill on the formal. Lucid then playing this one a little bit slower, waiting for the call, waiting for the communication, hits the shot, gets the body. It was a triple cap for a moment, and it's starting to hurt and really starting to pay off for Optic Gaming.
We saw an amazing comeback from Pure previously in the Slayer, but I'm not sure Optic are going to allow them the chance here. They have a lot of control of this map, and the sniper rifle in the hands of Lucid as well. All it takes is one headshot, and this could be game over, but the nade does shut him down. Two are dead on the side of Pure. Is it just too late now? It's one last desperate attempt over towards B to try and keep this game alive, and A is also being taken by Pure. Hold on, this one's not just done quite yet.
Triple cap would really be exactly what the doctor ordered for Pure. These two teams only separated by 6 slays, but it's what Optic Gaming have done when they've had those numbers advantages in their favor. It's been Pure playing from the back foot for most of the game, trying to get this camouflage now is Druk. The important thing is here, Pure are scoring.
Druk gets the camo as well. Fulmore will be calling it out, and you can see the nades coming towards the camo position, and Druk does not get away. That is great listening from TriPPPeY. That is great recognizing where the real threat was on the map. It was shutting down that camouflage and knowing they didn't have to be desperately trying to get points just yet because they had a significant enough lead to work with. But this game is still open for the taking here. Pure grab A and they hold C. This is going to be a battle over towards B.
They can get the reset, it will be big. They do get the reset here. And now Optic are starting to scramble. Pure can make no more mistakes, but Optic Gaming haven't got many left in themselves.
They made one mistake, they allowed one opening. That camouflage could have been really the thing that changed everything though for Pure, as they had a comeback in the previous game, and it could be another one on our hands here, as now C is going to be taken. Did he spot the one player below him? Does it matter is the real question. As long as they keep holding 2 and force Optic Gaming to try and take B off of them, one big slay over towards B could put this game in Pure's favor.
We talked about cat and mouse, that's exactly what we've got here. What is the play for Optic Gaming? Where are they going to hit first? Taulek's got control of Tower, waiting for information. Deadzone's going to try and get close to B. He gets cut down. Lucid has made it to green, but can he live? The answer's no. Pure are holding on here.
Pure holding on. Pure have A. Pure have B. It's a last-ditch attempt from Optic as they hold C, and they have to dart towards B, but it's not going to be enough as Pure have done it yet again here from the depths. They were behind by a significant margin, and they cannot. Optic Gaming cannot catch a break here. Just when they thought they were able to put Pure to bed, Pure are straight out saying, you didn't read us a bedtime story. We're back up and we're ready to go.
And they're causing ruckus around the house now. You spoke about it, how big that game 2 was going to be. They should have won it. They could have won it. And you said from being 2 up is what the result should have been for them. Now all of a sudden, down 2-1. And they've got a lot of thanks to that man Druk. What a performance he put in that game.
This is concerning for Optic Gaming. Yes, it's just pool play. I know we say that often. No, it's only pool play. Still got the brackets to come through, but what are we learning here from Optic Gaming? Very dejected at the moment from what we're seeing as well, and even though we'll give Optic credit, they are a team that can come back from anything, not just in one particular game, but in a series in general. But to be ousted like that, back-to-back games when you had an incredible amount of control, not of the game just by the scoreline, but also the map control you had as well, to be turned on its head and not to have an answer. It's almost like Pure are just timing this to perfection, just peaking at the right moment every single time here in these games.
We speak about keys to victory, Dan, and how important it is for teams to do X, Y, and Z. What I'm starting to learn now for Pure is if they're down by a massive margin, that seems to be when they start to play their best.
It's almost like they learned a lesson in game 1 where, you know, they were ahead, they took advantage, they looked like they were going to take down Optic, and then Optic were the ones who were able to come back into that game. And Pure said, well, actually, what happens if we just start slow? You know, maybe we'll let Optic Gaming think they have the better of us, they underestimate us, they get too comfortable, and then whap, they're back into it. And I'm very impressed from Pure, honestly. No, even if they were to lose this series 3-2 now, I think the rest of the tournament, we have to keep an eye on Pure and what they can achieve, because if they can do this against Optic Gaming, think about what they could do against Sentinels, against Quadrant, against Complexity, right? Pure go from a team that we're expecting to be around the top 8, suddenly we're thinking, well, maybe this is a team that could be pushing themselves further into top 6, and God knows, if you beat a team like Optic Gaming, that's how Quadrant started to get their one-up in this scene, as they were taking down teams like Optic, found themselves into the top 4, into the top 3. This could be the start for Pure.
You spoke about for Pure doing something a little bit unorthodox off the start, and again, I think the turning point in that game and in that series is Druk's grenade off the door frame. That's the one that turned the whole game on its head.
It was all a master plan, because they were like, they're grenading themselves at this point, right? So it's going to be an easy game, surely, but the next map mode is going to be CTF Aquarius. It's going to be game 4. We can look at some of the statistics from London. A 3-3 record for Optic Gaming, a 0-3 record for Pure, which is concerning on Pure's part. However, I will say CTF Aquarius has been a very back and forth game for Optic Gaming. Sometimes they look dreadful on it, and then other times they look incredible on it. There doesn't seem to be an in-between. And right now, with the form that Optic are in, I'm asking myself, which Optic are we going to see here on CTF Aquarius?
There is an interesting thing you told me before, is whenever we play rock, paper, scissors, you say, I'm always going to pick rock.
Always.
And eventually you will change it. I just don't know when it's going to come. Pure are down 0-3 in the stats on this map mode combination. Is it now their time to play a paper or a scissors?
They say, we purposely thrown every single CTF
this moment
from this point just to try and disrupt a team. Well, for Pure, this is their opportunity. This is the chance for them to make their tournament in this game right here, right now. This could be the difference between winner's bracket and elimination bracket for them. This could be the difference between a top 6 and a top 8. I know it sounds very early, but if you were able to beat Optic and take that seed away from them, suddenly that bracket looks very different when you go into Saturday, when you go into Sunday. And I think they know. They have Optic very much on the ropes here. A 6-1-9 is awaiting them.
Many teams have had Optic Gaming on the ropes in the past. Yeah, question now remains, can Pure be the ones to put them to that sword? We're about to find out here. Optic, like you say, almost down, almost out, but they've managed to beat the 10 count before.
Are we going to see the Optic Gaming that 5-0'd Sentinels in the online tournament recently in CTF Aquarius? Or are we going to see the Optic Gaming that barely struggled to get a flag out of a base at previous LAN events as well? I don't think there's an in-between right now, and I think it's do or die here for Optic Gaming. And what a moment this is for Pure to try and get our first upset of the tournament right in the early days here on Friday.
LastShot then, this is exactly what he would have been dreaming about when he won that FFA World Championship all that time ago, forging his career, making his mark on the competitive scene. And to do it against Optic Gaming, there are a few bigger names in the esports industry. What a story that could be for him here. He has to be sure, as do the rest of Pure, that the occasion doesn't get the better of them.
Pure have planted the seed of doubt into Optic Gaming's brain now. But is that seed going to grow? Do Optic start to think, well, maybe this series is going to get away from us? If we can't manage to get the games done when we have a 15-kill lead, when we have a 60-point lead, then what stops us getting the job done in CTF Aquarius? As now 3-4 go down for Optic Gaming, and that flag is on the move.
How far will the flag get? It looks as though it's going to get pretty far indeed, as Taulek holds the generator, but it does not matter. Pure have a 1-0 advantage.
Optic Gaming very much on the back foot now. And Pure are feeling it. You can hear them screaming on the main stage with the kills they've been able to achieve. They just need to make sure that they continue with this momentum, continue to pummel Optic into the ground while they have this advantage. As Lucid has to rely on someone else to get the kill there. Had to instead go for the reload. And Optic Gaming 1-0 down. I mean, what a start that is from Pure here, shows.
Just a little point on reloading the bandit. Sometimes when you're in a fight, Dan, it can really feel like you're reloading a musket at times. And I've been in that fight all too many times. 2 down, make it 3 down for Optic Gaming once more. LastShot surviving on the front base. The flag continues to move here. Desperately trying to stop the flag was formal, and unfortunately for him, unable to do so. The return will come, and Pure are moving their second flag in. Is there anybody to stand in their way? Deadzone will try, Deadzone will fail. Pure, 2 to the good.
2 to the good. What are we seeing now? We've had it before. Optic Gaming struggled sometimes in pool play. Well, they'll get taken to a game 5, but they've been down in game number 4 here. Just shows Pure are here to play. We finally get back-to-back tournaments for Druk, and he has very much welcomed himself back into the scene in quite an emphatic fashion.
What a story it could be. Lucid, though, position top middle, a little bit of overshield left to play with, and Optic Gaming have a flag of their own on the move. And could they put themselves within 1? Yes, the answer comes through. 2-1.
One thing you do have to be careful of if you are Pure is counter-cap City is very much a possibility when you have players like Deadzone on the map. Deadzone can move that flag from one base to another in a very impressive speed, a very impressive fashion. And if you take your eyes off it for one moment and allow him to creep through, suddenly that flag could be back at the opponent's base just like that. But now, Pure do get 2 kills, and they're moving another flag here to try and make it 3.
Formal on the front base, doing a lot of damage. Cuts down LastShot as he desperately tried to push that flag a little bit more forward. Perhaps patience was the thing that needed to be called upon. That push that looked as though it had some potential is now completely evaporated.
We'll get the return, and no worry for Optic Gaming on that particular push. But now, Deadzone pushing into Gen, and there's going to be several players waiting for him here. And Pure, for the teamwork, the chemistry that we're seeing from Pure, it was something that was brought up on the desk. The chemistry of this roster, what's going to happen, the change with Cherished coming into the equation now. How are they going to be feeling? How are they going to be approaching these games? The vibes are very much high for this squad right now. I think they genuinely believe this is their moment. This is their chance to take down Optic, but Deadzone with a double kill to say, well, maybe that chance is going to happen just yet.
Can't get too complacent, though. That's the concern, that's the worry. Deadzone pushed over towards the flag. This could be a huge 1v1 if he can get it. Optic to stay alive instead and continue to be a thorn in the side of Pure. A potential point of note, though, is now Optic Gaming's flag is being pulled. TriPPPeY's in the respawn screen. Taulek takes care of business back home, and now he can turn his sights back towards Optic Gaming's flag.
Certainly every time Optic do push forward, get some kills and start to get close to the flag, there seems to be one member of Pure there just to disrupt them and not allow them to really get the comfortable pull they would have wanted. As Cherished gets a double, and all 4 dead for Optic. It's another flag moving, and this should be another cap here, shows.
There should be nobody to stand in their way. Cherished pushes this flag up the shroom stairs. No damage taken, and Pure 3-1 now the score.
Well, we've seen comebacks from Pure, back-to-back comebacks when they looked down, when they looked out. You could argue Optic getting close to that position themselves. Can they do what Pure did to them previously here? What have they got left in the tank? Do they even believe they can do it right now? Because they are struggling to take map control in a game where typically we have seen them absolutely dominate a map, being able to pinch those spawns, run those flags flawlessly. They have not had those chances here because Pure are keeping this a very, very pacey game.
Wind very much in the sails of Pure, and they're riding the waves like Captain Jack Sparrow himself. Lucid down bottom middle. One single bullet will take him out. His shields now will start to recharge, and he can continue to fire some shots over towards Taulek. Gets him down almost to no shields, but Taulek wins that fight. And how telling could that be? Will the flag make any more progress? 3 dead for a moment. Flag sent back Pure's way.
Someone from Optic needs to step up and try and grasp this game, take control of it, wrestle it back, because Pure are strangling Optic at the moment. And Optic just struggling to breathe. It seems like every time they spawn, there is guns trained on them, there's bandit bullets flying towards them, and Optic can't escape them at the moment. Lucid goes down, but they do get a trade. Optic just need an opening. Now, this is going to be a big moment for me. We've got a listening queued up with Optic Gaming. I really need to see what the vibes are like. Do they have the belief? Let's jump into a listening.
Three.
Stay like, don't go for it, don't go for it.
On me. On me.
One minute.
They're front base. They're front base.
What's one part? What's one part right now?
I heard that.
What's one part?
P2's half. They're brick killing me.
He's one shot P2. He's one shot P2. Drop P1. He's going RP jump. RP jump. RP jump. Our troops is Obi. We need to try to keep getting to their side.
No more Obi.
Yep. Our jumper's
dead.
Nice.
On the middle, one shot, and car 3. You guys car 3.
Do our high, help Zane.
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out right now. These guys are car 3. Our gen, guys. Our gen.
Our car door. Hiding our car
I'm
door.
here, Joe.
2 guys are gen. 2 are gen.
Last shot's one.
There's one guy just sitting in their face.
Quick shit.
There's 2 in there. One shot again. Still there. Low gen. He's just getting his shields. He says he has a thrust still, guys.
Now, what's up?
Still, our gen bridge coming in, guys. We got it.
One shot.
Our shrooms one shot. One shot our low
Dial that.
shrooms. One shot here, he's one shot.
Argen again.
I think
Yeah, I'm going out front. Going out front right now.
Yo, bottom mid.
Bottom mid.
Druk. What's our gen on me too?
I don't see bottom mid.
Argen now.
Yeah, car one.
Weak. Taulek.
I got him.
Our shoot one trying to be Taulek.
P2, here, P2.
Weak, RP wall weak.
Yeah, I'll kill him.
2 dead right now.
Yeah, 3 dead. Last guy.
He's third, shrimp bridge. 3 shots.
Yeah, Tommy, get to the
One
gen,
shot,
Tommy. Get to the gen, Tommy.
Here.
Dead still. One
He's still on flag.
He's their back
I'm
pillar.
dying from their fire. I'm really a bullet.
Tommy here.
Watch out their back.
Tommy.
You're good, Tommy. You're good.
I'm looking P1.
P2, they're gonna go P1. Gonna go P1 to our side.
Nice flag, guys.
Our bridge. There's a guy our bridge.
I'm getting through.
He's our P door. dude.
Yeah, they're back flag.
Here, what's our last shot?
Got one.
Nice,
One's
guys.
in
Yo,
our-
their window.
Go again. What's our Cherished?
Two dead.
What's our flag?
Our window.
Back.
He's got a shot in our window. He's got a shot in our window.
It's gonna be
Yep.
2 years. It's gonna be 2 years.
Watch out, flag, guys. I'm dead with the flag.
Shot our 5.
Got one. I killed one.
Oh, he's on re. Got him.
Nice.
Close one.
Two
Close
dead.
one. Don't rush it. They'll probably jump behind.
You want
Wait, You're good.
Yeah, you're good. P1 to top
P1
mid.
top mid.
Stay alive, guys. Gotta stay alive.
We have to get to us. 15. Gonna be our card room.
Our shrooms, I think.
Looking at- yo, I-
Bump dinner, Tommy weak.
Here.
Our brick as well.
Up.
Rear.
Top shields. One shot.
Our brick, 2 shot, guys. Our brick, 2 shot, our brick. 1 shot, our brick. He's P1 side. P1
Here.
absolute. Our P jump up, absolute.
Hear that? You still
Sitting
there?
our
West.
Sitting our
Pick
jump
up
up.
so much on Cherished. Absolutely pick up. Cherished.
2 shot. Tommy.
Yep, OV guys, OV.
Go, paint him.
Well, the belief is certainly still there for Optic Gaming as they get right back into the game. It's 3-2, and one big thing I heard, we have to be getting this overshield, but they have not achieved that. Taulek's got another one, but it is still a close game. It is not done quite yet for Pure.
Flag captures can do quite a lot for your belief as well. Like you say, now within 1. What have Optic Gaming got? Failing to get that overshield, but it hasn't hurt the cause all that much. LastShot, though, is behind enemy lines, and Deadzone is trying to clear house. And he's doing so alone for the moment. Taulek's got damage. Taulek's got a kill. We did hear a flag pulled out, and there is one on the move. TriPPPeY's got hands on, but he has to give it up for a moment.
Are Pure going to be one of those scenarios where they're 3-1 up with a few minutes to go and they start to get slower? They start to try and defend their lead, and Optic can maybe take advantage of it because at 3-2, suddenly if you're defending for minutes, it's not going to look good for you. If TriPPPeY can get round this corner, which he does, and we might be right back into a tie here.
If Optic Gaming get this flag capture, I think the wind shifts. Now Optic Gaming tie us up 3-3 the score. They are not done with this series just yet.
And I said the listening was going to be important. We would learn a lot. We did learn a lot. Optic Gaming, they were still upbeat. They were still calling out the important things. They did not sound dejected. They did not sound like they were going to allow this to be a victory for Pure. And now momentum is very much on their side. And they are starting to push a lot better as a team. They are pinching. They are closing in. They are calling out the right things. And now another flag is on the go here for Optic.
It was bit, bap, bam. 3 went down for Pure. 3 remain in the grave at the moment. Deadzone moving that flag as fast as you could possibly move it. And he's gotten it all the way home, taking 0 damage. Optic with 3 captures without reply.
And they take the lead and they take this game. And I said someone needed to take control of it. And Deadzone, certainly one of the players who has done so alongside Lucid. With the momentum, they've been able to just shift their way. And the flag pulls from Deadzone alongside the kills from Lucid allow them now to take the lead. 2 minutes now for Pure to once again come back into the game. But you can't count out Pure after what we've seen so far in this series.
Optic Gaming, as it stands right now, are outslaying Pure by 6. They have a flag capture advantage to show for it. 2 down now for Pure. And all of a sudden, when time looked to be in their side, time looked to be in their favor, it's Optic Gaming now who hold the lead as we run into the end game.
Teams that are very good at defending leads is Optic Gaming as well. We talk about structure, we talk about positioning. The fact that it's only 1 minute 30 for Optic to hold on to this flag lead now means Pure have to try and do something a little bit different to try and break this. Otherwise, it's just going to be Optic picking them off one by one to close this game out.
2 go down, Cherished and Druk. A double assist for Deadzone. 3 for Optic, and perhaps if Pure can take some map now, they can threaten to get a flag capture of their own. Lucid trying to output as much damage as he possibly can. Put 3, possibly 4 shots into the spine of one player running towards car side. But this, as we head into the final moments, is a massive time for Pure to answer back.
This is big for Lucid. Has to stay alive and try and get any sort of kill here, or at least an amount of damage to allow the rest of the team to join him, because 2 players have gone down on the side of Optic. Lucid, though, is in a position where he can disrupt this push for Pure. It's one last opportunity to get the toss, and they do get the flag out. Only 1 member's gone down of Optic, and I don't think Pure will be able to run this one.
Flag is out, but it's not on the move. TriPPPeY more than aware of that exact point.
30 seconds remaining.
You hear the in-game announcer, 30 seconds remaining. Deadzone and Formal combined to pick up a couple of kills. One last chance for Pure to get forward, get slays, and get a flag They're almost out of time.
It's a staggered spawn as well. All four still not up. Taulek is about to respawn, and he does, but Cherished gets taken down, and I think it's just going to be a little bit too late here for Pure.
Only a matter of time as the time does count down from 10. Optic Gaming have shown heart, resilience, and determination to come back in this game to get us all tied up. Optic Gaming put us level and push us to a Game 5.
A Game 5 in the early hours here of Atlanta. I guess it's not that early anymore, but the early days and the early hours of the tournament. What a series it's been so far. Just when you thought maybe it was coming to its conclusion with a 2-cap lead for Pure. But Optic have shown that resilience that you were speaking of. They've shown that they are not going to be pushovers, and they are not going to allow themselves to get dejected, and they have shown why they are previous world champions.
You spoke about Optic Gaming sometimes on Aquarius, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not so good, and I think we've seen that all in one game. Down and out it appeared by 2 caps, 3-1 the score, but out of nowhere, a flurry of 3 unanswered caps, and they're right back into things, and now we head to a shootout. But last time we were in a Slayer, it was Pure who came out on top.
It was Pure who came out on top, but I guess we can dive into the stats of that in a second. I just want to touch upon the listening, right? We went in at a good time because Optic were down by 2 flags, and we could have joined the listening, and Optic maybe accepting the defeat at that point, and you would have heard it. Maybe some of the call-outs would have been a bit negative, but they weren't. They were still very positive. There was still a very clear plan. They knew that they could still get back into this game, and I think that sometimes is the difference with some of the bigger teams, is no matter how far they are behind, they're always going to believe, but that's what Pure have also shown in this series, which is what tees us up for the perfect Game 5 on Slayer here, because no matter who takes the lead, you can't expect this to be a victory either way.
No matter who takes the lead or how much that lead seems to be, Dan, neither one of these teams are down and out in the game, and neither team have been able to be separated after 4 games of Halo. And we've got one more game to play, Dan, to settle this little squabble here in Atlanta.
I will say it is somewhat worrying that neither team has been able to hold on to a lead, because if you were playing against a FaZe Clan, for example, are they going to be able to give you that same opportunity to get back into a game if you're down by 15 kills, if you're down by 2 caps, 60 points? That's usually why you see FaZe actually close out games in emphatic fashion. So Optic, they need to learn a lesson here. They need to make sure that they close this series out, then go back, look at what went wrong, look at why they were allowing Pure back into these games. But Pure will be thinking, this is still very much for the taking. Slayer Recharge is where we are heading for Game 5. Now, again, it's not one of Optic's best. They have a 50% win record so far this year. And for Pure, they did play it twice in London, they lost it twice in London, but I just think when Pure looked at this series layout, they wouldn't have been looking at how they performed in London on any of these maps. They would have been looking at how Optic played. Where are Optic's weaknesses? Where are their strengths? And they would have been saying, as long as we get to Game 4 and 5, we have a chance. This is their opportunity now.
We are now down to a Game 5 coin flip by all senses of the word. Looking at the stats then on your screen, 50 to 45 was that Game 2 Slayer. Are there any outliers on your screen, Dan?
I think damage-wise, Informal doing what we would expect, but 19 kills, still not able to get that victory. I think Lucid we would expect more of as a player. A KD of 0.36 for Lucid in any game is not something we were used to seeing in any series of Halo Infinite, that's for sure. But I think Pure will look at this Slayer and say, okay, well, if we can shut down a couple of these players, maybe if they can just shut down Formal, this might be a bit of a breeze. But it is going to be Slayer Recharge, which typically can be a very slow-paced Slayer, which you have to kind of lean towards Optic as being favorites with their playstyle. But at the same time, if Pure get control and they keep that pace at a speed that Optic aren't comfortable with, the win is definitely there for them.
You speak about Slayer on Recharge, sometimes it can be a little bit more methodical. Do you think that now favors Optic Gaming, particularly with how that last game's result went?
Yes, it does, but will it actually turn out and be that way? We'll have to find out. It's Game 5 here in Atlanta. It's Optic Gaming versus Pure. We love series that go all the way, and we'll have to see whether Pure can come out on top or Optic are able to wrestle this one back.
Camouflage for TriPPPeY. Druk is put away. Cherished is about to join him very quickly, tries to do the wiggles, but TriPPPeY spares his blushes, gets the kill, a double at that. 1 kill advantage, Camouflage already starting to play a little bit of a part.
Yeah, Camo has to be the priority here for Optic Gaming. You heard, certainly in the listening earlier as well, that Optic Gaming are focusing the overshield in the previous game, but weren't able to maybe get it. On the other side of the tournament here, on Bravo, it's ascending baseline EU versus Complexity. And Shurs, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a 49 of 43, but it's in favor of Complexity as they will close the game out and they will win 3-2 over there, but a fantastic effort from Ascend baseline.
Wonderful performance from Ascending baseline. Nobody would have given them a prayer in that series, and they pushed it the distance, went to game 5, and were just 7 away from victory. Heartbreak for them, but now our attention turns back towards the big one on the main broadcast. Pure against Optic Gaming, nothing to separate them after 4. It's the 5th game, the shootout, 2-kill advantage for Pure here, 9-7.
Are we going to be able to see anyone really pop off with a camouflage here in game 5, which could make the difference as well? It's an early lead for Pure as running straight into a remote detonation there. Shock rifle in hand as well for Druk. Now remember what we saw Druk do previously on Recharge. It was an entire lifespan of 2 camouflages and a killing spree, really showing how you can survive on this map and make yourself a big influence as well.
Pure just starting to pull away here. Druk puts one in the dome, almost lines up a second, and they have a 6-kill lead. And they'll be quite noticeable that they they came back from a massive deficit in game number 2, and they will not want to allow Optic Gaming to get themselves back into this one. Currently with a 4-kill advantage. You spoke about how Druk got a camouflage, some more kills, and another camouflage. Well, it's back up and it's on the map.
Yeah, lead seems to mean nothing in this series, so you almost have to take it at face value of we aren't going to know what's going to happen until we get around 45 kills or so between these two teams. But what is important is you stay within that 5 realistically. If you are either team that's behind, you don't want to allow too much of a lead because you don't want to give yourself too much to do. Yes, it's happened already once, if not twice, maybe even 3 times so far this series. That doesn't mean you can consistently come back in that manner. Lessons should have been learned by these teams right now as Druk does run in, walks straight into Deadzone, but he has support and Druk gets away.
TriPPPeY back blue in a 1v1. Stands Druk face to face. TriPPPeY comes out on top, reversal locked in. That could be big. Pure still have a 2-kill advantage now. That lead has almost been cut completely in half then. Cherished to spawn over towards bottom elevator, throws a grenade down to try to deny some space. Will take that fight on. Cherished gets shut down and a perfect kill for TriPPPeY.
Those are the fights that we're used to seeing Optic win. Those are the fights they weren't winning in some of the previous games, and that could be the difference maker for making sure that you do take the lead. But Pure still holding it, or they did, until we get a what are you doing moment from Druk as well, just popping himself out. Sadly thought he could maybe slide and challenge. And it's given Optic the chance to take full control here, but actually maybe it opened things up. Maybe by putting yourself out as bait, allowed a couple of members of Pure to escape a potential spawn trap there.
He slid, he challenged, and that challenge was accepted by TriPPPeY. Now on board with Cherished then. Outputting damage, but unfortunately for him, damage coming his way as well. He hits the respawn screen, and a kill goes in the favor of Optic Gaming's column. Fight then towards pipes. Deadzone wins this fight. All the 1v1s down, they're going Optic Gaming's way, but they're still down by 1.
This realistically is just another series for Optic Gaming, but for Pure and for some of the members in particular, this is arguably one of the biggest series of their careers. And the opportunity, maybe one of the biggest opportunities they could ever have to try and shut down a team like Optic Gaming as well. For the likes of Cherished, the likes of LastShot, they will be hoping that they can topple Optic Gaming here and have that memory, that fond memory. For Druk and Taulek, we've seen it before, they have been up there with the big boys, and they still hold a 2-kill lead over Optic Gaming as the game slows down ever slightly.
That's the thing, you look at LastShot and Cherished, you know that they've been Halo fans for the longest time, and they're now competing against former world champions. You've got 2-time champions, you've got Formal's won everything there is to win in esports. He's on the other screen. He was perhaps a hero of some of these players at one point, and now he's been a hero of mine for the longest time, despite the fact he's younger than me. Damn you, Father Time, by the way. Deadzone, bottom elevator. Looking for enemies. Found one. Taulek down to no shields. Just about evades the headshot with the use of that slide. And Deadzone then going to go for the camouflage, it would seem, down to no shields, along with his teammate back in the tower. He's not done with this scrap.
One thing we spoke about before the series was the speed of which Pure can play and where they need to be careful, not fall into the trap that Optic Gaming lay. And that's one thing they've successfully been able to achieve throughout this series, is they have not overplayed it. They've not been too fast. When they've noticed that maybe those traps are starting to be laid, they've slowed things down, and they have played at the same pace of Optic. But that has meant that Optic have played in a more comfortable area. But where Pure have found success is when they get that control, then they amp up the pressure a little bit. Then they start to speed things up and try and catch Optic off guard.
Lucid down to no shields. And if anybody else can get close, he will be caught off guard. Fortunately for him, he gets his shields back. Plasma pistol fully charged and ready to find an enemy. And it could be Taulek, the first point of contact, as he dips his head towards elevator. Plasma pistol does not find a home. Lucid gets shut down, but importantly, Optic now hold that 2-kill lead.
Usually you trust the plasma pistol to hit, right? Back in the day, that ain't missing, but now, sadly, could be a big difference maker for Optic Gaming as they're unable to get that kill. It allows Pure to keep this within 2. And you can see the aggression coming out of Pure as well to shut down Formal, take him out. And now he was in one of those priority positions where he could do a lot of damage on the map here.
What can Taulek do? What influence can he have? A lot of damage, that's for sure. As two members of Optic Gaming push towards pipes, and both of them almost meet their end. Formal gets a double kill, could be a triple kill. Deadzone moves into pipes. They've got map control, and all of a sudden, they only need 11 kills, and Pure are in trouble because they're spawning right where Optic Gaming need them.
What an answer back that is from Formal as well, to get shut down at glass and then from the grave get kills back to back to send Optic into a 4-kill lead now, which could very much be an 8-kill lead if they play this one right. They are starting to surround Pure. They just need that one pick, that one headshot that can change things for them, get that damage, and then start to push in.
It wasn't that long ago we seen this very map give us a tie game, 50-50, Optic Gaming against Space Station. Could we see something of the same ilk here and now? It doesn't look likely with a 6-kill advantage for the green wall. And they're starting to collapse on those spawners. LastShot's in big trouble as Formal hunts him down with the commando. He's going mano-a-mano with a couple of members towards blue, as Taulek tries to desperately escape with his life, has done so successfully, but they've got the kill that they came for, 43-36.
Yeah, just like that, it goes from a 4-kill game to a 7-kill game, almost an 8-kill game that I spoke of. It was a well-executed push from Optic Gaming that Pure could not avoid, but they have kept it at least within 6 with a pick there, but now Cherished goes down, and Optic Gaming are edging closer and closer to winning this series, which would be heartbreak for Pure, who have thrown absolutely everything at them here, and now suddenly Optic Gaming look like maybe, just maybe, they're going to cross the line here in what will feel like one of the longest series of their life.
Optic Gaming could be about to weather this Pure storm then. Lucid in pipes. Taulek's going to pop out for a second, just shows a pixel, gets the kneecap shot. Druk over towards tower. That's information that Lucid is getting all the meanwhile.
Shock rifle's up, I think, yes it is, and you can see Lucid wants to grab it, but doesn't have the opportunity to do so right now. And maybe Pure looking to try and take advantage of that. Eyes trained over towards Batledge. 3 minutes and 30 left on the clock, so there isn't a huge rush here yet for Pure. And Optic Gaming also probably trying to think, how do they achieve this? As Druk comes flying in, by the way. This is a big push from Pure.
Druk comes soaring, shirt off almost, it would seem. He gets taken down, though. They have not got too many more kills to give away. Cherished could be the latest one to fall victim, and does. 3 dead, though, for Optic Gaming. Formal the last man alive, and if he could climb inside those lockers, he would.
47-44. Optic are close, but they've been close time and time again in this series, and Taulek has got the shock rifle now as well. So with that push, they gain control of pipes. They force Optic now over towards blue, and almost the opening that could have changed the game here for Pure.
Almost feel like the doctor from Simpsons. Taulek backing away, cannot find the face on the trippy. Optic get 2 more kills. They are within 1, and all of a sudden Taulek is scrambling. He's put it into retreat. LastShot's over towards Batledge. The opportunity was there for Pure, but have they fumbled?
1 more kill for Optic Gaming. They're playing it patient, they're playing it slow. Pure cannot afford to step a toe out of line here because Optic will take full advantage. Taulek now running with his tail between his legs as they try and hunt him.
Taulek almost caught offside. We get VAR out to confirm it. Taulek in towards blue, then it would seem. Lucid happy to play this one patient. They know they only require the 1 more kill. Taulek puts down damage with the shock rifle, tries to find the face onto Lucid, but it's nothing more than a warning shot. Lucid pushes forward, Druk's in big trouble, down to no shield, desperately tries to tuck his head, but Lucid takes the scalp. Lucid takes the game. Optic Gaming win 3-2.
And Optic Gaming will survive. That will be the key word here. They were troubled, they were beaten, they were knocked down, and the comebacks were everything from Pure. but Optic somehow, some way will survive what was a very back and forth series. But ultimately, championship mentality is, even if you are not playing at your very best, you still get the job done. That's exactly what we've seen from Optic Gaming there.
They were rocked, they were wobbled, but they picked themselves up from the canvas more times than I can count in that series, Dan. We talked about resilience, Optic Gaming showed it, and on the other side of things for Pure, it's dejection. They put so much into that series and they come out with no reward.
Yeah, it was kick out after kick out, wasn't it really? Just when you think Optic are down, Pure seemed to have them on the ground, seemed to have them pinned, and suddenly Optic come out of nowhere and say, look, we're not going to roll over, show our bellies at this point. We're Optic Gaming for a reason. We have come second for the last 2 events for a reason. We're not going to allow a Pure to take us down, right? I do think that Pure are going to look at this one and say, is that the best opportunity we're ever going to get to beat a team like Optic? It was right there in front of them. They were 2 caps ahead on CTF Aquarius, not able to get the job done. They were several kills ahead in Game 5, not able to get the job done. It is going to be a tough pill to swallow, but a lot to learn. And a big takeaway is that they are taking a team like Optic to Game 5.
Yeah, I think that's the message you take away, right? Promising signs. You went the distance with Optic Gaming. And remember, this team is not together that long. This is only their 2nd tournament playing together. Cherished is only the latest edition after London. Optic Gaming have been together a little bit longer than that, and they've been a top 3 team, top 2 team for the longest time. Pure have really impressed me there.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts Pure in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, it does.
I just think it will hurt them individually.
Hurts me.
As they know how close they were to trying to get that one, right?
Yeah, I think they have to go back, and no doubt they're going to look at the VOD. There's a lot of things to work on, but a lot of positive signs to be shown as well. Optic Gaming do bounce back, and Blaze has got an interview. Take it away.